all of our guests joining us today for our AGM and board meeting. It's great to see everyone and there's so many and past board chairs, past board members, so many volunteers and welcome again to staff. We've had a great morning doing orientation and getting further insights and informed on the activities the Conservation Authority is. For this term, we at this point have 8 new members joining us and 1 returning. So looking forward to an excellent term with this board. Item 2 is disclosure of pecuniary interest. Are there any items of conflict to be noted at this time? Not seeing any. If one should arise during the meeting, please feel free to raise it at that time. Item 3, are there any additional agenda items? Not seeing any. Item 4 is a motion to adopt the agenda before us. Do I have a mover? So moved by member Bell, seconded by member Mackey. All those in favor of the agenda? That's carried. Thank you. Just gonna flip my page at this point here and get the right document. It's a pleasure just meeting in person. I guess that's how I'll start off. The last couple of years has been largely virtual. It was great to get back to in person during the year last year, but during my two years as board chair, they were both virtual AGM. So it's certainly a different environment to be operating within. And it's so great to have everyone back today. I should just at this point too, this is the owl in the center of the room. For those not familiar with the owl, when we're speaking during the board meeting, we want to direct our speech to the owl for anyone that's joining virtually so that they can hear us. The moment we turn our head, the audio follows us, so it becomes unclear. So that's the owl. It's functioned very well in 2022. It was a great initiative to staff to seek that owl out. It's not the ordinary owl that one thinks of when they think of the Conservation Authority, but it's a really good owl.
We don't have to screech.
No. I would like to start off my remarks. This is the first opportunity for the board of directors to reflect upon the passing of Elwood Moore. Elwood was a founding director of the Conservation Authority locally in 1957 and served for 44 years as a dedicated advocate for conservation within and beyond our watershed boundaries. Let us sit for this term committed to advancing conservation endeavors and results and to better inform and educate residents on the benefits of protecting our natural resources for today's generation, tomorrow's generations, and beyond in the spirit of Elwood. And Elwood passed recently and had been somewhat recently recognized by the authority in the fall of 2021 with a bench, a commemorative bench just out, I think, to the east of where we're sitting today for his time and dedication to the Conservation Authority during his long time in politics and contributing to his community. Our Conservation Authority, alongside all authorities in Ontario, has seen tremendous pressures the last few years. Accelerated development has placed tremendous pressures on some municipalities and significant administrative burden on all of us. Our staff has spent a great deal of time meeting unnecessary administrative requirements from the province the last few years, but at the same time have responded to increased workloads, largely in our planning and permitting departments, for the needs or desires and benefits of our residents. The last few years has generated massive activity by both residents and tourists to our properties for recreation and health and wellness benefits. These are our customers, and staff continue to enhance the experience of our users The data in 2022 would reveal they continue to be our customers, enjoying and benefiting from the opportunities our properties provide. It has certainly been my pleasure the last 2 years to represent the authority, pulling together as one and continuing to punch well above its weight for our comparable size of authorities in Ontario. And being that we've got a fulsome agenda, I got rid of 4 pages of remarks. Nobody wants to sit here till 5 o'clock today, and there is certainly a risk that 4:45 might have been inevitable. So at this time, we are at item 7, board appointments. 6. Oh, item 6. Forgot my readers. Oh, thank you very much. I'm just in a hurry to vacate the chair. So we have many distinguished guests here today, and we certainly, on behalf of the board of directors, welcome everyone and thank you for joining us. We've got many guests wishing to bring greetings, and we've got our MP Alex Ruff joining us virtually. So knowing his schedule can be somewhat busy at times, I think I would like to look at the monitor and allow MP Alex Ruff the floor to bring greetings. Welcome, Alex.
Thanks so much, Chair Scott. You can hear me okay?
You're good.
Sounds good. So anyway, look, I wish I could be there in person. Obviously, some new board members and some new coming on, new councillors or municipal representation at this meeting. That would have been great to meet some in person, because as you quite rightly highlighted, the last couple of years have been difficult to see everybody in person, so kind of sick and tired of it, although it is beneficial when you have multiple meetings and got to be in multiple locations at the same time. So thanks so much for the invite and for all the great work the board's doing. Thank you for paying recognition to Elwood, a true icon really across our area in numerous fields, but in particular for what he's done with the Conservation Authority. So I just want to wish you guys all the best with your meeting today and the continued work that the Conservation Authority does for our area and our environment, and keeping the area such a great place to be, and keep up the great work. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Alex, and thank you for those remarks brought forward today. The next guest to bring comments and greetings is Randy Schercher, although too joining us as the as Deputy CAO. What's the formal title of Grey County?
Yes, excellent. Oh, podium? Oh, the owl, okay. Don't want to make the owl angry. I'll make this quick, and for those I've not met, as sitting chair, I guess, for the moment, as Greg mentioned, my name is Randy Scherzer. I'm Deputy CEO for Grey County, and thank you for inviting me to here today to give greetings on behalf of Grey County and Warden Milne and CAO Kim Wingrove. I see some familiar faces around this table, so I think, yeah, looking forward to working with Grey Sauble. We have a fantastic relationship with Grey Sauble Conservation Authority. The Conservation Authority looks after our county forests and our county trails, and have done a fantastic job over the last number of years with that partnership and relationship. And we just look forward to continued great working relationship with Grey Sauble, and look forward to working with this board over the coming term. So congratulations, and thanks again for inviting us.
Thank you, Randy. We've got 2 guests joining us from Sauble Valley Conservation Authority today. I'll first welcome Barbara Dogreen, the newly appointed chair of the authority, up, and following Barbara, or joining,
Yes.
is Jennifer Stevens, the CAO of Sauble Valley Conservation Authority, or Sauble Valley Conservation Authority. So welcome to both of you today.
And it works this way. We'll just save time, tag team. So on behalf of Sauble Conservation, I'm pleased to join you for your annual general meeting. Being an 8-year veteran on the Sauble Valley Conservation Authority, I've witnessed just how the authorities, Grey Sauble and Sauble Valley, have remained dedicated to our mission and vision over the years, in spite of external challenges and pressures. The progress we have made in protecting our natural resources and the steps we have taken to increase the accessibility has resulted in better engagement, better awareness, and better support throughout our watersheds. Conservation authorities across Ontario have adapted to the changing needs of our communities and indeed those presented to us by the province of recent years. We not only benefit from our partnership with Sauble, with Conservation Ontario, but with our member municipalities. And as such, we've expanded our reach and our impact. So I just want to say thank you for inviting me to be greetings on behalf of Sauble Valley Conservation Authority, and I wish you all the best for 2023.
As I continue, we will continue to work collaboratively with our partners, stakeholders, and the community to achieve our goals. We are confident that our collective efforts, we can make a meaningful and lasting impact on our environment now and in the future. In closing, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to the Sauble Board of Directors for their continued support and their vital role in conservation. We would also like to thank the entire team of staff at Sauble Conservation Authority for their hard work and dedication to our mission. Together, we will continue to make a positive difference in the world. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you very much for joining us here today, Barbara and Jennifer. We've got some great partners to the Conservation Authority who are joining us here today. And the next guest that I'd like to ask to come forward would be Don Sankey, who is the current and has been the chair of the Conservation Foundation for many years. He's a former teacher, so I will say welcome, Mr. Sankey.
Thank you. Well, first of all, on behalf of the foundation, I'd like to welcome our new authority members. You're entering a critical time, as Scott has talked about political. The foundation started in the same way back in the mid-90s. For those who can remember the political upheaval of the mid-90s, I remember attending a meeting at the Bay Shore when there was a fear of the land being sold. So the foundation was formed. The foundation is very important to the authority. We're a group of volunteers, but we work closely with that staff over there. And sometimes I can be a pain in their butts, as well as some of the other members of the foundation, but they've been very good at assisting us. At the back table, before you leave, I hope you'll pick up our connections. This is a list of the activities that we did last year, and they're very, very important. Some of the activities, and I'm just going to be brief on it because we hope to do a presentation to the authority at some point in the coming months. But two big events that we're very proud of is the Earth Film Festival, which will take place in April, and then the Memorial Forest. We're very proud of working with the authority to maintain 3 sites. And it's very moving every June. On June 11th, we'll have the ceremony to highlight the people who have passed away. And we always plant a commemorative tree of them. So we're very proud of that. So I won't say too much because it's a long meeting, but please get one of these to take home and read. And again, on behalf of the foundation, when you make your choice for a meeting, think about us. We always need great people. So when you're trying to decide what committee you're not sure, join us because we'll make you happy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sankey. He didn't give the exact date of the Earth Film Festival, but I think it's Thursday, April 20th. So if you want to all just mark that right down on paper
Well,
right
thank
now.
you, Scott. That's very good of you. It's Earth Day and it's going to be Earth Week. So I encourage all of you to work closely with your local schools and teachers, and let's make Earth Day and Earth Week so important this year in 2023. Thank you.
And if Don's presentation is not back before the board before April 20th, you'll all see him that night as board members of the Earth Film Festival. It's a fun night.
Thank you.
Another supporter of the Conservation Authority for many years joining us today is with Friends of Haibu. And at this time, I'd like to welcome Bob Knapp up to the podium.
So I'd like to thank the board for inviting me today. And as chair of Friends of Haibu, we formed 10 years ago. So it's actually 10 years since our formation. We work on improving trails in Haibu and promoting appreciation of the natural environment there. We have 7 members or 7 people on our committee. And then we have a group of approximately 15 volunteers we can call on if we're doing different tasks there, like repairing boardwalk or replacing boardwalk. In 2022, we had Family Fun Day. Did anybody here go to? Oh, good.
It was great.
And I think it worked out really well. We partnership with Great Sauble, and it was a great event at Haibu. The funds for operating at Haibu come from grants, or they come from my wife and I. We have an endowment fund which contributes towards. So it's kind of nice when you have a committee that you actually have some money to do something. And it doesn't come directly out of the Conservation Authority. For 2023, I'm not sure if you're aware, but this is 50 years since Haibu Park was created. 50 years ago, we worked and were able to raise the money to have this park created. So we're planning on a celebration concert in June 24th. So hopefully a lot of you will be able to come to that. Morgan will actually give some more details on that, but we're quite excited that it's 50 years ago since we worked so hard, and it seems like, boy, that's a long time ago. So thank you for having me, and we like participating as Friends of Haibu.
Thank you very much, Bob, and for all your time and commitment and effort spent over the years supporting Haibu with the Conservation Authority properties. Our next guest is former board chair. I'd like to welcome Kathy Little up to bring greetings at this time. I should also say former councillor in Grey Highlands before retiring from the councillor position last year.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you, everyone. And it's really a pleasure to be back here, seeing so many familiar faces, and I hope to get to speak with staff when we have a break, and seeing familiar faces and honored guests sitting around the table. And a lot of new faces, which is very refreshing, you know, for the Conservation Authority to have new people coming on board. And I can promise you that your experience with the Grey Sauble board is going to be memorable and exciting, interesting. You're going to learn a lot, and you're going to learn that the Conservation Authority, the breadth and depth of what they do will astound you, actually, and on a shoestring. And you know, I've had the honor of serving with some great boards, and also working with staff. The professionalism, prowess, dedication. So jokes me up. It's great. I also bring greetings from, I'm now in the community now, and so I'm part of a couple of community groups that have an affiliation with Grey Sauble. One's the Beaver Valley Nordic Ski Club, and the other is the Friends of the Kimberley Forest. And this is just another small piece of what Grey Sauble does, is have these partnerships and help people in the community to promote the environment, promote people getting out in nature, enjoying nature and respecting nature. So thank you very much for having me, and I wish the board and staff all the best. Thank you.
Kathy, we continue to be blessed with passionate staff here at the authority who are all work effortlessly to further the best interests of conservation. And you certainly, as well as the prior board chair joining us today, Dick Hibma, both of you certainly were the embodiment of that type of passion as well. That's always on display from our staff, and that you brought forward in the role as well over so many years. Thank you. We have the mayor of Blue Mountains, a former board member joining us today, sought a little bit of time out of her busy schedule, and I'd like to welcome Andrea Matrosovs up to say some greetings.
Thank you, Chair, and I accepted this invitation to come and bring greetings on behalf of our town of the Blue Mountains, because this is an occasion to celebrate the dedication and the commitment of the former board members, the current new board members, the volunteers, and the staff of Great Sauble Conservation Authority. I too, as Kathy did, I served on this board for 4 years, and I can concur that it will be an informative and an uplifting occasion for you to be able to serve your community on a larger scale than within your own municipal boundaries. We've always said that water does not recognize those political boundaries. It keeps flowing. So what you do upstream affects somebody downstream. And that's why there is value in coming to this table as you do, and as you will do each and every month for the next 4 years. It is part of a greater piece. Kathy mentioned some of the groups that have contributed little bits and pieces, but all of those little bits and pieces from each of our conservation authorities, including our neighbors over at Sauble, will contribute to the larger watershed and its impacts. And that's the reason why last week I had the opportunity to speak on a panel to be able to address the federal government for the cities, the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence Cities Initiative, and Bonnie Fox from Conservation Ontario was there too. So we all sit at that same table, and I will continue to advocate for the value that the conservation authorities have here in Ontario and the contribution that you're making on the greater scope. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Andrea, and you're certainly a terrific supporter of the Conservation Authority. We appreciate how busy you are, and you've, both yourself and Kathy Little, were tremendous support to myself over the last 2 years as well. And I certainly thank you for that support you gave this role. Are there any further greetings any guests would like to bring forward today?
I have a question. Was our member of provincial parliament also invited to speak to the Conservation Authority AGM?
That question, that answer, I certainly, we publicize our agendas to our MPs, to our MPPs, so they're aware of our agendas monthly as well as special invites.
So sorry, I'm just noticing that Valerie is nodding. Yes, the invitation was extended.
Yeah.
It's been extended to, through you, Mr. Chair. We extend the invitation to all members of parliament that are relevant to us here.
That would include.
Yeah, thank you. I just
Probably.
wanted to clarify that.
So at this time, I would like to entertain a motion that I would like to, I'd like to leave or vacate the position of chair and ask for a motion to be moved that Dick Hibma be appointed as chair pro tem for the 2023 election of officers. Do I see a mover? Member Urick has so moved, seconded by member Dubin. Thank you, Nadia. All those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to welcome past board chair Dick Hibma as the chair pro tem.
Thank you, previous chair Scott Brick. It is indeed a privilege for me to assume this role for this meeting. Having been subject to this process for a number of years, it's somewhat familiar to me, so I shouldn't stumble too badly going through it. And I'll beg your indulgence when I do stumble. It's wonderful to see some familiar faces around the table. A young lady who I grew up as a neighbor to me for a number of years. In my time as a chairperson over the years, I would have new board members come on and reflect on how their father used to serve on the conservation board. I am delighted to have Tobin Day be able to say that to you here today. Her father served as a representative of the city of Sauble when I was on this board, so it's a unique position for you to be in, Tobin, and I congratulate you on being here.
So I was a former board member when I was here and Sue Carlton as well. And this gentleman over here to my left, we go back to grade school. I made it.
I'm not sure if this is the best time, but I did just briefly want to say thank you for the tree that I don't know who made it happen, but somebody planted in the forest, Memorial Forest.
Yeah, that would have been the authority board and recognizing Boggles and contributing at one point in time, and those things are always very meaningful to families when the person is deceased. So my role here is to conduct the elections of your chair and vice chair, and then I'll turn it back over to the new chair when we're done. I believe you have a copy of the process, the attachment number 1 in your agenda package. And so I'll just highlight some of the process here. I will be looking for 2 independent, non-director scrutineers. I believe there will be a motion presented to accommodate that. We'll elect chair, and then we'll elect the vice chair. There's a process laid out there in terms of the nomination. Nominations do not require a seconder. But when I've called 3 times for nominations, then there will need to be a motion to close nominations for the position. That will require a mover and a seconder. And we'll repeat that for the vice chair. So we'll walk through that process as it carries on. If there is more than 1 person nominated, then of course we give each of the people nominated an opportunity to speak to their desire to take on that position. And a time limit, we'll see how good we are at limiting the time if it becomes necessary. And then there'll be a paper ballot vote that scrutineers will preside over. And then we'll declare a winner of the election and carry on from there. So that said, I believe we have names for scrutineers, Don Sankey and one other, who's the other?
Randy Scherzer.
Okay, and I'll ask for a motion to appoint Don Sankey and Randy Scherzer as scrutineers. Don Farmer and Jennifer, seconded. Discussion? All in favor of the motion? Thank you, that motion is carried. Thank you to Randy and Don for volunteering for that, to be volunteer. And gird yourself for the rigors that follow. All right, at this point, I'm going to call for nomination for Chair of Great Sauble Conservation Authority. Again, doesn't need a seconder, so, and then I will call 2 subsequent times for nominations. So first call for nominations, Scott.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. It'd be my privilege to nominate my colleague here, Sue Carlton, to the position of Chair of Great Sauble Conservation Authority.
Okay. And the second call for nomination for the position of Chair. In the room, and the third call nomination for Chair of Conservation. Okay, seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to close nominations. Nadia, and seconded by Scott. Yep. All in favor of the motion to close nominations? Thank you, that motion is carried. This seems awkward because it seems like a fait accompli. Sue, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I do.
I'm grateful for that. Chair Pro Tem, I would declare Sue Carlton the Conservation Authority Chair for 2023. Congratulations. That means we now move to the position of Vice Chair, and I will ask for nominations 3 times again. So beginning the first call for the nomination for Vice Chair of Great Sauble Conservation. Scott?
I would nominate Scott Gregg.
Okay. Good. Second call for nominations for Vice Chair. Okay, and the third call for nominations for Vice Chair. Seeing none, motion to close nominations for Vice Chair. Yeah. Okay. Chief Kirkland, thank you. And the second, Colin, thank you. All in favor of closing nomination? Motion is carried. So I get to, well, first I have to ask, do you accept that nomination?
Yes.
Good. I can declare you Vice Chair of Grace Conservation for 2023. And congratulate Sue and Scott on my election and commend you all the best for coming year. Thank you for your service.
Call the motion to approve that, the appointment.
Fair enough, yes. As a governing body, you get the opportunity to confirm what you just did. So, motion to approve the election results of Chair and Vice Chair. John Berman, thank you. Tony Bell, seconder. All in favor of the motion? Do that motion's carried. Thanks.
We're getting big.
Gives me some elbow room. That's the only reason I nominated you.
Oh, like everybody. Everything? I don't know whether to say thank you or not. I'll let you know maybe to use time. So the next item I see here is remarks by 2023 chair-elect and 2023 vice chair-elect. So I shall start. I'd like to first start off by thanking Scott Mackey for nominating me. And for all of you who believe that I have the skill set needed to be the chair. I attended my first Grace Sauble Conservation Authority meeting 6 years ago. At a meeting similar to this one, with Dick Hibna being elected as chair. And at the time, Dick had been chair for a number of years, and it looked like he was going to be willing to carry on for many more. But even then, I can remember thinking to myself, this was not a position I really thought I would ever want to do. And I thought that because I knew very little about conservation authorities at that time and what they did. So I know fractionally more now, but the difference is I now firmly believe in what our conservation authority does. I see the value given to our municipalities and our communities. And I think it's important that we all support conservation authorities to make sure our lands are properly cared for, to ensure future generations have access to green spaces to visit, trails to walk on, the species that are natural to our area to appreciate and enjoy. And there's so much more that can be done. I'd like to thank everyone who is here today, everyone on staff for the excellent work that you do. It's always so pleasant to work. It is so much appreciated. To municipal council members for the dedication and time that you give to the authority and to our communities. And for all of you who volunteer on the other committees, such as the Arboretum Alliance, the Foundation, Friends of High Boob, the Beaver Valley Organization, everyone who is here. Thank you for all that you do. And I look forward to working with everyone. And thank you for granting me the privilege of becoming chair. Do you have any remarks to make?
I'll be very brief. I've always enjoyed my time on the Conservation Authority. I think this is the 7th year I've been part of the Conservation Authority, and it's certainly something that it's just a true value that I cherish. And I go for a run in a mild May or June morning, and you run along the East Bay Shore Trail in Owen Sound. There's snails everywhere, and I think I'd rather suffer muscular damage than accidentally step on a snail, but you just can't help it. Sometimes there's so many, they crack every now and then, but, that's, it's not because I'm not passionate about the work we do here. And certainly, it's easy to look forward to all the activities of the Conservation Authority because they are near and dear to your heart and aligned with what you value. We've got lots of pressures ahead of us from development and navigating through those pressures is something that I mean, it's something you gotta cherish when you do it successfully. So hopefully we can work well together and successfully meet the challenges that are before us today. So, and glad to support Chair Carlton and also. Thank you very much to my nominators and supporters.
Scott. So next on the agenda is election of committee members. And it's attachment 2 in everybody's package. How are we looking at doing this? By people volunteering or are we, okay, so first one on the list is Conservation Foundation. Or is it easier to have people say, right, which ones they'd want to go to and then we fill in the blanks?
No, it's fine.
Okay, so Conservation Foundation, who is interested in sitting on the foundation with Mr. Sankey and Mr. Hibma?
Could I ask a clarifying question?
Yes.
For those of us who are new, is there a minimum number of committees that members are expected to participate on or a maximum or what is our distribution?
Go ahead.
Madam Chair. No, the short answer is there's no minimum or maximum to the number of committees you can attend, but there is a certain number of members we're looking for each committee. And then there's the obvious time commitment that goes along.
Just one other question that, when you commit to time commitment, is there some sort of a criteria on how much time? Because some of us are limited on what we have for time and, being, Bruce County plus, Sudbury Peninsula plus your own businesses. So I would hate to go on a committee that I'm expected to be 20 hours a week at type of thing. So is there some sort of a, because I don't want to go on something that I can't fulfill the commitment. Is that easy to do or is that hard to do? Because I'm new, so. Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Scott.
I might say the time commitment from any of the committees is not onerous.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be comfortable that there's just certain days of the week that maybe are not agreeable to you, just perhaps ask on a certain day of the week that might create conflict, but it's not a significant demand of anyone's time. And there is a little bit of an unequal weighting to my name being on a lot of those 2022 appointments. So there's a lot of fields there that could be replaced for where it now says Greg.
Yeah, Sue Carlton isn't slipping into all of those.
Forward through the foundation.
Okay. And Nadia, I see your hand up. I'll volunteer. Excellent. Thank you.
Dawn was persuasive.
He was.
I'm
Expecting some fun.
Like the mustache.
Go ahead.
And I enjoyed being on the foundation as well. I've had conflict being the times are Thursday mornings. And it's conflicted with county council. So I've had that challenge, but there might be opportunities to shift the meeting time.
Yeah, tomorrow's already, because of today, part of you being so busy, we had to move it to Thursday. We traditionally meet the third Wednesday morning. We're always open to suggestions and we are a very accommodating group of people.
Procedurally, do we now, do we say yes and move that the members go to that committee, or do we do all of the appointments and then we move ourselves as appointments as a block? Just gonna double check.
Yes, we have one large motion to approve.
To approve everybody. Okay. Scott?
Madam Chair, I would not be able to attend, if I was appointed, I would not be able to attend tomorrow morning because I do have county council, so if that's going to be an issue going forward, then I would.
We're glad to have you. We like Chatsworth. We're good people.
Oh, you should, we're the headwaters.
And if I could just ask for clarification from staff, I had it mentioned from foundation members or membership that they would enjoy more representation and from the board. I would make myself available as well to serve on the foundation if it's possible. Not certain our bylaws limit to two, but yeah, from the foundation, they're certainly interested in more than two.
So we have both Scott and Nadia.
Yes, and if I may make a clarification, I do have council meetings the third Wednesdays, starting at 10 a.m. So again, if there's flexibility to make accommodations, depending upon who joins, that'd be great. Otherwise, if I can also step back if that becomes an issue.
That's good.
So anyone else, Scott?
I'm not sure if our terms of reference allow from the board perspective, but if the foundation allows for up to 4 members, I would put a motion forward that we allow up to 4 members. Scott has expressed interest in being that we increase our board membership on the foundation to a maximum of 4.
Okay. That's okay. We can do that. Okay. So we'll incorporate that into the motion. So is there anyone else would like to make up that 4th?
I am interested, however, mornings will always be problematic for me, so I would need an afternoon meeting to make it a sustainable approach. And I'm also interested in another committee, so I don't know if there's an equal distribution of committees.
So do we want to go through the rest of the committees and then maybe come back and see if anybody else is interested in letting their name stand elsewhere? Okay. So forestry committee, we've got 3 to 6 members. Who would be interested there? Jay?
What is the day of that?
I'll have to defer to staff on that.
We don't have set meeting days.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's just as
Available.
Yeah, as the committee deems fit, and we have, as a group, pick the next meeting day.
Yep, thanks.
So that one's not a monthly one, is it, Mike? It's, no. So,
I don't have far to travel, so I can avail myself to that.
Scott? Okay. Anyone else interested in that one? Okay, Arboretum Alliance. Indigenous and GSCA Relationships Committee. Okay. Oh, I can't even find that one. Okay, 3 to 6, okay.
How many of us were there for this?
I think there's 5.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
if I could just, because I'm looking down, if I could just see who's,
so we have Jennifer, Nadia,
Are there standing meeting dates and times for that we should be aware of as well?
Tobin, Rob, and John.
Just, can I ask a question on procedure? And I know it comes into our municipality the odd time. We don't in our municipality allow a majority of council on a committee because then you could move business forward. What is the number of, for Great Sauble Valley that would be able to move business? What's quorum? 6?
Quorum would actually be 6.
So My question is it okay? Because we've had outsiders come in and take us to court a few times on a majority of council sitting outside of council means you are council. So I just want us to be careful on that if we have 6 members, is it considered that we could move the Conservation Authority forward without actually having a meeting with the Conservation Authority?
Go ahead, Tim.
Through you, Madam Chair. The committees are set up in such a way that they cannot move business. Anything that comes out of committee has to come before the whole board for resolution.
Okay, so even if you do have a majority of voting members on a committee, as long as it's committee, it cannot move the Conservation Authority forward. Okay, thanks.
Good question. Thanks, Dan. Don, you had your hand
Well,
up?
I'm just, if that's a concern, I would be willing to withdraw my name from that one.
No, it's not a concern. It's
No,
just we
we've got
in
5 on
trouble
there,
in
so.
Courts for having a majority of council on a committee in the past, so it was something that we were being scrutinized.
Right, gonna move back here. So agricultural committee, we have 2 members there.
And are there standing meetings for? So I'm realizing that would have been helpful information to have in the package. Could we just maybe have that as a matter of course as we move forward for standing dates and times?
Sure. Through you, Madam Chair.
Document. Sorry.
Yeah, the only committee that has standing dates is Conservation Ontario, which is the chair and the vice chair by default. And the foundation meets monthly or bi-monthly. The other committees, forestry, agriculture, the ad hoc building and the Indigenous and GSA relationships committee are done by polling the members of the committee to see a time that works for them. And most of them are no more than 4 meetings for the year.
Yeah, I'm okay with agriculture.
Okay.
I'm good with agriculture.
Okay.
I am.
Tony? So we only have 2 for that one.
I can withdraw.
Oh, no.
Like, if there's more members.
That's okay. Yes. go ahead.
Can we add to the agricultural committee?
Yeah, I guess if we wanted to do that procedurally, we would have to amend those terms of reference at the next meeting.
At the next meeting?
Okay, so we've got Jennifer and Scott Mackey wanting on there as well.
I can withdraw and go to the forestry though. I think that if we need more people on forestry, both of those have interest, so.
Which committee was done about it?
Agricultural.
Well, I kind of want to join that one too, but maybe I can't.
But we can move to an election if there's, or we can decide that they're correct.
No, I'll withdraw my name, like, hold me off.
So we have Tony, Alex, Scott, and Jennifer. Scott Mackey, let's be clear.
I can withdraw. Oh, no, don't do it.
Nope, no, that's good. You're fine.
Nice try.
Don't expect to get out of any of this.
Took me all morning to talk in
And building ad hoc committee.
And perhaps if I could just speak to this, this is a committee that probably met 3, maybe 4 times last year. We're trying to advance the drawings forward and in a building, and into the next phase. So certainly it's not structured to any degree on when we'll be next, but
So
not a
Am I
huge time
contractor
commitment.
being on this committee?
Would be great.
I would think that would be good. Think of it.
Just don't try to build it.
Yeah. I just want to cut your drawings to heck.
Through the chair, yeah, the idea with the ad hoc committee is if members of the board have experience with building, design, things like that, that would be much appreciated.
I'm just looking here. Dwight was on the last time, so you're probably good. Nadia, did I see
Dwight and
your
I
hand
used
for
to
that one
fight.
as well? Okay. So we have
Please go on, yeah.
Yeah.
Alex, Nadia, and Jay. Is that everyone on? Oh, not Greg?
I would, I'd remain on it, being that I was part of it the last couple of years.
Okay, so we're back to Arboretum Alliance. Okay, since I managed to skate through on just the others, I'll do Arboretum Alliance. So I think we have all of them done. We'll just need to come back to the board with something on the agricultural committee to add members onto that one. Am I correct?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so. Wait a minute, I think there's a motion coming out here. So the motion being that the Gray Sauble Conservation Authority Board of Directors has elected and appointed for the year 2023 committee members as listed. Do you want me to read what I have, Valerie, or?
To make sure that we.
Okay, so what I think I have is on Conservation Foundation, both Scotts and Nadia. Forestry Committee is Jay, Scott Gregg, and Scott Mack. Arboretum is myself. Indigenous and GSCA Relationships Committee is Jennifer, Nadia, Tobin, Rob, and John. Agricultural Committee, Tony, Alex, Scott Mackey, and Jennifer. Building Ad Hoc Committee, Alex, Nadia, Jay, and Scott Gregg.
Through the chair, do we need to assign first and alternate reps for conservation?
So, no, by default, those are the chair, the vice chair, and the CAO.
Tobin, where did I miss your name?
I'm easygoing, but I did volunteer for the Conservation Foundation when we opened it up
Okay.
for people.
Okay.
Permitting.
We will bend the rule.
Sorry, thanks, Tobin, because I missed writing your name down.
That's okay.
Okay. Any other corrections? Did anyone comment? Okay, so Conservation Ontario Council is already kind of predetermined, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. I think I've caught everything there. So I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by John, seconded by Rob. Is there any discussion or questions? All in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Thank you. Next
Did we
is,
not need to change a procedural portion for the number before we could have voted on that? Or did we-
For the ag committee.
for the Ag Committee?
Do we need to remove the ag committee?
You should remove it from that motion because
You're right.
it's not in our procedural. I'm just trying to.
Mm.
He's thinking like a clerk because he's been around this so long.
6 terms makes you do that.
I will amend my motion to remove the Ag Committee.
I just don't know how well this.
No, you're
committee
right,
is
Dave.
scrutinized,
Not,
because we are very scrutinized where I come from.
not like you would understand.
So,
We'll carry that with first 2 names, and we'll bring the staff will bring a report back at the next meeting.
So we will include member Bell and member Maxwell, and then we will do a reappointment for members Mackey and members Shaw at the next meeting. After
Okay.
we have the new terms of reference.
okay.
Yep.
That suits? Okay, good. Thanks, Jay. So next is appointment of general counsel. So the motion. Is there anything I need there, or just go ahead with the motion? So that the Gray Sauble Conservation Authority Board of Directors appoint Middleborough and Stevens, should be Stevens, not Sevens, LLP and GSCA General Counsel for the year 2023, with the option to engage the services of other solicitors as necessary. Could I have a mover and seconder, please? Scott Gregg and John Farmer. Are there any questions or discussion? I will call the vote. All in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Thank you.
Did I zone out for motion 9 or did we say motion 9?
It was
Did I miss one? But,
Through you, Madam Chair, we updated earlier this week, we updated the agenda package when we realized that we actually have a 5-year contract with Baker Tilly. So there was no need to appoint them.
I remember reading that one. Thank you. Okay. So we are on to the meeting schedule. Okay. Member Mackey has suggested we take a couple of minute break to allow anyone who wants to leave to go. You don't want to stay for the rest of this.
So we actually.
You can report back, Randy, on the
We
whole
have-
meeting to council tomorrow.
We have a 15-minute break after this next one. Would that be good?
I just saw people getting antsy over there.
Imagine why. Scott, did you have,
I would just move that motion
okay,
for the 2023 meeting dates to be as followed.
I did have one comment
go ahead, Toby.
if I may. August 23rd is one of the conferences for municipal.
Oh, that'll be the AMO conference?
And I've already signed up for that conference. And I know I might be the only one, but I thought I'd point that out.
No, that's a pretty popular conference, so probably most of us will be gone for that one. So we might want to adjust the schedule for the 23rd of August.
And I'll leave the motion as is because at the time we can't do exactly that. There's 5 Wednesdays in August, but that's not dissimilar to conferences like OBRA and so forth in the past that fall when the board has a Wednesday afternoon meeting at the end of the OBRA conference.
The other thing we might look at there is that the July 26th is optional. So we may decide to have only one meeting in the summer and we could work around that time. Tim, go ahead.
Through you, Madam Chair. July 6th is currently listed as optional because there might be a bus tour for the board instead.
Oh.
I
But-
can second the motion if you.
To change it to being,
The motion didn't get seconded. I
Oh.
apologize. I spoke too soon.
that's okay, you're fine, okay. So do we want to switch to then the 30th of August or just leave that one to determine at that date?
I believe Scott's suggestion was that we can change dates subsequently as we go, and that we can move the dates as they are currently.
Everyone's okay with that and understands that? Okay, so Scott has moved it, Jennifer has seconded it. Any further questions? All in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Okay. Now we're at 15-minute break. You're just trying to confuse the chair.
Meeting, you're like,
Look at our email.